It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the first day of December 2020. I've got a couple stories this morning, and then just a little on the personal note. Many of you have already seen that I posted my weekly journey against prostate cancer for the week, even though it's early, due to the significance of the news that I got yesterday. Basically, folks, the biopsy did not go particularly well. There's some spread that's involved with a number of lymph nodes, lungs along my spine, a bunch of them. So it's an aggressive form of cancer, and they've basically recommended to start chemo immediately. So my first chemo treatment will be the 14th. So 2 weeks. I'm going to miss some programs, guys. There's just no way around it. Thursday, I should be able to get back. I have to go for a COVID test Thursday. Next week, I think on Thursday is when I'm in the hospital to have the port put in. So that day is definitely done. And then we'll just have to see how I do with the chemo. So anyway, so much for that. So let's get on to some a little bit better news as far as this program goes. Royal Caribbean sails today, and that's terrific news. You know, we talked about this on Saturday. 9 months after the shutdown due to the global health crisis, Royal Caribbean's first cruise ship will offer a revenue cruise sailing today. Quantum of the Seas will sail from Singapore and begin offering 3- and 4-night cruises to only residents of Singapore with no port stops. The first sailing of Quantum of the Seas is capped at about 1,000 people. Terrific news. Of course, the world is going to be on them like white on rice. I mean, they're going to be watching them closely. So hopefully Royal Caribbean can follow along in the footsteps of MSC and Costa and do this successfully. On December 17th, so that's a couple weeks away yet, the Australian ban on cruising will expire. CLIA International Australia Managing Director Joel Katz is now calling on the Australian government to allow conditional resumption of this critical sector in the Australian tourism industry. Mr. Katz made the case that Australia has been reasonably successful in managing community transmission of COVID with a strong strategy for safe sailing introduced by the industry. There is ample basis for reviving the country's $5.2 billion cruise industry. Not only would this protect local folks against outside infection, but it would also mean a revival of the economic benefits of cruises in Australia, according to Mr. Katz. So hopefully we're going to see some cruises going from Australia soon. All right, guys, a little bit of a history lesson for you this morning. That was the original Mardi Gras. You know, in only 2 short months from now, Carnival Cruise Line expects to launch the newest member of the Carnival family, which is the new Mardi Gras. It will be the ultimate fun ship and one of the most ambitious that Carnival has ever attempted. But this picture was from back in 1972. It was a whole different challenge for Carnival in those days. Ted Arison was about to undertake when he purchased the RMS Empress of Canada. It would be a ship that changed the history of cruising forever, and whose name lives on today. Arison certainly had an eye for choosing the right ship. The Empress of Canada was a well-maintained vessel certainly in better shape than some pre-war vessels offering cruises from Miami. The Empress of Canada was an ocean liner built in 1961 by Vickers Armstrongs and for Canadian Pacific Steamships Limited. The liner sailed the transatlantic trade between Liverpool and Canada. And of course, they renamed it the Mardi Gras, and it began sailing Carnival Cruises in 1972. The reason I pointed this out this morning, folks, was I was actually on the Mardi Gras in 1978 or 79. I'm not 100% sure. My age, things just get a little hasty in there. My first two cruises, one was on the Mardi Gras and one was on the Festival. Were both Carnival ships. I don't remember which one was first and which one came second, quite frankly. And where that information is, I'm not going back to get it. But anyway, I was on the Mardi Gras either in 78 or in 79. This is the difference. The artist rendering of the old Mardi Gras superimposed next to the new Mardi Gras, and what a difference in sizes the two ships are. Of course, the new Mardi Gras is 6,000 passengers, and I think the old Mardi Gras might have been 1,200 or something. That also featured next to the casino and the Mardi Gras was Chillie's Bar. That's, needless to say, where I hung out a lot when I was on the Mardi Gras. So much for the history lesson. America Cruise Line recently revealed new designs for the interior of its new class of modern riverboats. And they're basically going to be on the Mississippi River in environs starting this summer. The new interior design concept is the next evolution of the series, so said Charles Robertson, president and CEO of American Cruise Lines. All the riverboats to come will continue to feature the graceful structural innovations that debuted several years ago, with the first of a few riverboats in the system. And they're getting away from, they've got the paddle wheelers. The old paddle wheelers are still out on the rivers, but they're getting to this much more of the European design. And they've added several ships. They're going to add several more that you'll see on various American rivers starting this summer and next. Now, I have two basic problems with river cruises, folks. We don't have the same problems in this country that they have in Europe. The reason that they got squatty little short cruise lines in Europe is so they can get under the bridges, on all the rivers in Europe. That's why they're squatty. So that same style is being used in the American riverboats. And I think our bridges are a lot higher than the European ones, so that's not that big a deal. But the squattiness, the lack of height, is why they can't have elevators. You have an elevator shaft for an elevator to go up and down. So there is no accessibility for handicapped folks. You can't get on it. Not only that, where they park next to each other in a river, sometimes you have to go from the dock to a ship, go through a ship to the next ship, through a ship to the next ship to get to your ship. It's just not a good thing for anybody that's challenged from a handicap standpoint. They don't have scooters on the riverboats because you got to go up and down stairs, and they have not come up with a sensible way of making it accessible for those of us that are have mobility issues. So unfortunate, but that's the truth. Anyway, there's new, nice looking ships. I'll go back to that picture. See the little flappy thingy up front? That's the gangway. That's how you get on the boat. It opens up, and the bridge extends out to the dock, and that's how you get on and off the new ones. So, yeah, it's an interesting concept. All right, our friends over there in England, those them folks that talk funny like Pete. They're poised to begin vaccinating health workers as soon as next week, December the 7th. In the U.S., first vaccine could receive emergency use authorization as soon as the 10th, and vaccinations could start days later. The first load of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccines were flown from Belgium to the U.S. over the weekend, so it's actually in the country, waiting for the emergency use authorization, and then we start into the distribution process. So it's a significant milestone in the whole process of vaccination, and that the Pfizer stuff is in country now. And we'll just have to see the whole process of who's going to get it when. I mean, obviously the healthcare workers, the first line responder folks, they're at the top of the list. And then my understanding is, as far as us seniors with health issues, they're going to probably start with nursing home folk. And then I guess someone like me that has health issues and is a senior will be next in line after the nursing home folks. So I should still be reasonably early in the process, but we'll see. And this one, I promise you folks, you won't hear this on any other travel show today. An Oregon mink farm has reported an outbreak of COVID-19 among animals and workers. Oregon Department of Agriculture spokesman Andrea Cantu-Shamu declined to say which county the farm is in or how many workers had tested positive, citing federal health privacy rules. The farm has about 12,000 animals, she says. So that's some minks got the COVID. I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole, honest, folks. I'm not. So, interesting. So, all right, that's it as the way of news today. Let's go see who's with us this morning. And again, all you guys that have commented and sent me messages and stuff, you guys know how much I appreciate that from all of you. So, good morning from a snowy Ohio, Gretchen says. Yeah, I saw that you're getting some bad weather. Sonny says Australia should do well, resume cruising. They've controlled COVID very well. Australia and New Zealand both have done an excellent job. Nikki's with us down in Jacksonville. She says it's cool down there. 43 degrees in Jacksonville. She's not ready for this. Yeah, it was 26 here this morning. So, not to makes much difference to me. I'm not going anywhere today. Yesterday was the big day. I was out and about to the doctor. That's my entire social life, folks. Go to the doctor, come home. Last night I did drink some bourbon. I had a hickey wicky with a wicky kicky. I had several, as a matter of fact. I started off with a triple. Now, I didn't have to drive any place, and I haven't done that in a long time. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. Beat the hell out of feeling sorry for myself. So I had some Elijah Craig last night. It was good too. Let's see. Sonny says, I wish Cruise Line would stop all the new builds for now, finish ones in progress, but stop any new build until COVID is behind us, if ever, as much as possible. You know, that's, how are they going to pay for all these cotton picking things? Tom Henry's with us. Hi, Tom. Good morning there. Cindy cruised on the little one. Okay. I'd love to. I'd love to do a river cruise, but I just, especially, the more mobility issues I have, the least likely it's going to be that I can do a river cruise. It's one thing now, and I am, I promise you, folks, I'm in the market to go out and buy a scooter. So anyway, I am going to buy a scooter soon that I have for myself. I'm looking at several. So, Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, Tom. So, or September 7th. You're an idiot, PP. Didn't Norway have a mink COVID outbreak, or they killed all the minks? I didn't hear about Norway having one. Yeah, Sonny said, yeah, they kill all the poor little minks. That's sad. Did I have a PSA test annually prior to this year? No, actually, I had the digital tests several times over several years, but there was no indication of any problem until it's almost 4 weeks ago now, when this whole thing started, when I thought I had a UTI. That was the first time I had the PSA test in this, and the reading was through the roof. I had a PSA test yesterday as part of the blood work, and where it started off at 400 and change. Then it went down to 200 and something. And it was back up to 300 this week. So it has, in fact, spread a little further in the interim. But so, I mean, that's just totally off the chart. So I was not surprised at the results yesterday. And the biggest thing that bothered me about all of it, and the thing that I got pretty emotional about, was the fact that when this is all over, I go through the chemo and I'm, going to look like Telly Savalas. I won't be free of cancer. This particular form of cancer is going to be with me the rest of my life, as they hope to manage it. That's the optimum result, managing the cancer. So, Gretchen says the men folk up there suck up Woodford Reserve. I've been known to do a little Woodford Reserve myself. My son, as a matter of fact, represents Woodford. So, yeah, I'm quite familiar with Woodford. We usually argue over whether we're drinking Elijah or Woodford when I'm out at his house. And Nikki says Denmark had a mink COVID outbreak. Huh? Wow, more problems with minks. I just saw this one about Oregon. Emily's with us. Hi, Emily. I heard parts of Australia are COVID free. Is that true? So both there and New Zealand. New Zealand, they had an outbreak here about a month ago. They had like 9 cases, and they shut the whole country down for like 10 days until they got rid of them, and they're back to normal. But it's a whole different world. Tom says he gets PSA tests annually since age 50. Obviously, I wish they had done that, but as far as I know, they never. I've had blood drawn, but I didn't know if it was specifically for a PSA test until all that. I didn't know what a PSA test was at first. So, obviously now I know. But that's, that's the way it is. So, yesterday was a little disconcerting for me, a little emotional. Don't mind admitting it. He got a little borderline emotional when I did my video this morning. But that's, I promised that I would share it all with you guys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I did. All right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I'll be back with you on Thursday, assuming that everything goes well. The COVID test is at 9:30, and it's on the other side of town. So, assuming that there's not a line of people waiting to get tested, since it's an appointment test, hopefully we pull in and they stick the damn thing down my throat and do it, and I'm back home. So hopefully Thursday will go off normally, as will Saturday, and next Tuesday, I think. Yeah. Then Thursday will be canceled next week. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. As always, guys, stay safe, wear your mask, socially distance, wash your hands a lot, keep your hands clean and sanitized at all times. Stay healthy, and one day soon, we'll all be going on a cruise again. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being with me and supporting me. I'll never be able to tell you how much it means. Thanks, guys. See you Thursday.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.